are you? It's been a little while since I made a video. This week I'm going to talk about travel nurse housing and transportation. I've received so many comments and emails about this, so I figured might as well make a video. And I think it was also requested by one of my subscribers. But I'm going to go over how to find housing, whether you should take your company's housing, how to get around once you get to your assignment, how to get to your assignment. I'll break it all down for you. So let's get started. So overall, you have two options when it comes to finding your housing as a traveler. You can take your company's housing, which will be furnished, all utilities included except for cable, and will be in a close enough distance to where you're going to be working. Or the other option is you find your own housing, and you could literally live across the street from where you're going to be working. You can live in the downtown area of the city that you're traveling to, or you can live wherever you want to if you choose to find your own housing. Now, the way that works is if you take company housing, then the company is going to be giving you a little bit of a lower hourly rate or a lower salary in total because they need to make up some of the costs for the place that you're going to be living. So, say you're supposed to get, $1,700 a week on your travel assignment. Then you decide, you know what, I need the company housing. I don't want to look for my own place. You may, in that instance, not get $1,700 a week, but you may get $800 a week because they're using some of that money to furnish your place, to find the place, to secure a lease for you, and to have all your utilities paid. So it's the trade-off when you decide to go with the company housing. If you take your company's housing, you have to realize that you don't get to choose where you're going to be living in the city. So they will let you know probably a week or two before your assignment starts where you're going to be living. And you can't really back out at that point. You have to take the housing if that's what you have signed on your contract, that you will be taking their housing, and they find something for you. You kind of have to stick with it by the time you know where you're going. The issue with that is I've heard of a lot of companies putting their nurses 30 minutes away from their actual job, 35, 45 minutes away, not in the actual city that they're going to be working in. So for instance, if I took my company's housing here in San Francisco and they put me in Daly City, which is very close to San Francisco, but it's not. It's right outside. And I guess people can consider it the Bay Area, but it's not the city that I'm requesting to live in. So just make sure you know that that is a possibility and that they have the right to do that. But you also do have the right to tell them, I need to live in the city. I don't have a car. I need to be able to get to work. I need to be close to work. And in that case, they may be able to pull some strings and get you a place into the city. But you need to say that up front so that they know what to expect and so that they know what to look for. You can't show up at your apartment and say, I don't want to live here. It's too late at that point. So you need to make sure if you're taking your company housing, state what you need from them and tell them how important it is to you to live in the city or to live close to the hospital if it is important to you, and especially if you don't have a car. If you decide to find your own housing, then it's important for you to find a place that's okay with doing a month-to-month lease or doing a 3-month or 6-month lease, depending on how long you're staying on your assignment in that area. Now, you also need to make sure that this place comes furnished because no traveler is carrying their furniture on their backs. And it's really kind of expensive to store your furniture and then move it every time you move. And travelers, we move a lot. So I recommend that you try to find a place that's already furnished, has utilities included, and is okay with doing a month-to-month lease. I will post below some website recommendations that really have helped me and have helped other travelers find these furnished apartments in great locations wherever you end up traveling to. Some recommendations that I have off the top of my head are VBRO.com, vacation rentals by owner. And a vacation rental works really well because they are usually looking for someone who will do a short-term rental. So short-term meaning 3 months or 6 months or even 1 month. So I would recommend doing that. Also, I think Airbnb works really well because sometimes people offer their entire apartment, or you can rent just a room in someone's home or someone's apartment in the place where you're traveling to. Last but not least, I would also look at vacation rentals on Craigslist and short-term housing on Craigslist. Be careful with Craigslist though, because I've heard of so many people getting scammed on there. I've never personally been scammed. Knock on wood, I don't even have wood to knock on, but I've heard it happens all the time, and just be careful. Really read through what they're asking of you. Don't give them any of your information up front, and always ask to meet them or to do a Skype meetup with the person who's offering the place. And sometimes you can actually take a tour of the place through Skype, and you know that you're talking to a real person and the apartment is real and they're not trying to scam you before you get there and there really is no apartment and you've given them all this money. So just be careful if you're looking for your own place. Now, as far as transportation, once you get to your assignment, that is completely up to you. I did not bring my car to San Francisco. It is still on the East Coast. So I've been taking the bus to work, walking, taking the train, Uber, Lyft. It's up to you. Once you get to your assignment, you just need to make sure that you get to work every single day and your company expects you to work the shifts that you are assigned, so you need to figure it out. If you want to bring your car, it could be fun to do a cross-country trip to where your assignment is. So say you live in Alabama and your assignment will be in Chicago. It could be fun if you pack up with a friend and drive your car up there so that you will have your car in the city that you're going to be working in, and that could be your mode of transportation to work. Now, your company will reimburse you for travel expenses. So if you decide not to bring your car and just fly to your city, go ahead and write that on your reimbursement form, and they will reimburse you a certain amount of that plane ticket. They won't necessarily reimburse you the whole thing, but they will give you some of that money back. If you decide to drive, save your toll receipts, save your gas receipts so that you can get reimbursed for part of that drive or trip that you took. And if you stayed in a hotel on your way there, they can also reimburse you for those things. But overall, they just want you to get there. They'll reimburse you for some part of your mode of transportation to get there. And then once you get in the city, it's really up to you to figure out how you're going to get to work. One recommendation that I do have is choose very carefully whether you're going to bring your car or not. If you are taking an assignment in a small town that does not have public transportation, you need to bring your car. It may not even have Uber or Lyft, and you may not live close enough to get to work every day. So probably bring your car if you're living in a small town, just so you can also leave this small town and go to the nearby cities if you need to. If you're going to be living in a city and taking an assignment in a city, then that means you probably shouldn't bring your car. It depends on the city though. But I probably wouldn't bring my car to New York just because I'm not exactly sure where I would park my car in New York. New York is notorious for bad parking. Here in San Francisco, it is the same thing. I have friends who have to move their car every single day just so it doesn't get towed. So it depends on what you want to do, but I think if you're going into a big city, then maybe necessarily you don't need your car. And if you're going into a small town, then probably bring it just so you're not trapped in this small town and so that you have a way of getting to work if there is no public transportation. Last thing to remember when it comes to travel nurse housing and transportation is everything is negotiable. And don't let them tell you that it's not, because it is. If you need more money for housing, negotiate as hard as you can to get a little bit more. And I really do believe that recruiters try their best to get you as much as they can for your housing and living expenses, and even for reimbursements. If you want more for reimbursements because it costs you an arm and a leg to get where you're going, ask for it. It does not hurt. Don't be shy. They are working for you, so you need to ask for what you need. And if you're at a place for 3 months and your assignment is ending, but you may extend and you took the company housing, ask them to move you closer to work or to move you into the city. I did that personally in my first assignment, which was in Baltimore. They put me outside of Baltimore like 35 minutes. Luckily, I had my car, so I was able to get to work. But when I extended, I said, absolutely not. You guys have to move me into the city so that it's easier for me to get to work. And they did that. So ask for what you need. Be honest with them. Be upfront. And then you'll be a happy traveler. Thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram and Snapchat. And I hope to post another video soon. Have a great week.
Her pistol go